Hey there, storytellers! Welcome back to my channel and welcome to the first video of November. I'm back on my Friday upload schedule as I mentioned, but I suppose I can announce it now. I am planning to do 25 days of Bookmas this year, which means I'm trying to get as many November things done and out of the way as early as possible so that I can devote some time to doing some holiday bookish fun. But without any further ado, let's get into today's video, which is going to be 6 books I feel I need to read by the end of this year. I misspoke, it's 7 books. Anyway, let's get into this. 3 are finales to a series, 1 is a spin-off from another series I've enjoyed, and 3 are kind of their own thing. So, kicking things off, we have Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. This is the conclusion, of course, to the Grisha trilogy, and I have actually already started this one. It follows Alina and Mal and the Darkling and all the other characters that we've come to know and love in the Grisha trilogy, sort of for their final showdown, I would imagine. I haven't actually read the synopsis because I don't really want to be spoiled for what goes on. I am trying to finish the Grisha trilogy at least before I start the Shadow and Bone series on Netflix because I'm way behind and I really want to watch it. But I felt like I needed a foundation of at least one of the book series that inspired it, either the Six of Crows duology or the Grisha trilogy, and I decided to do Grisha trilogy first because quite honestly I was less excited for these than I was for the Six of Crows duology, and I think that's gonna be fair to say that I might enjoy that one a little bit more than the Grisha trilogy. But so far I am liking this one the best out of the Grisha trilogy. I'm only 3 chapters in, 34. I haven't had much to judge it on, but I just sort of like the fact that Alina seems to be a little bit more sure of herself from the get-go, and that's a little bit different than usual. So right now, kind of enjoying this one, and we shall see, but this is the first one I need to finish. The next one I need to finish is The Book of Life by Deborah Harkness. This is the conclusion to the All Souls trilogy, which the first book is Discovery of Witches, and I've seen the first season of that show. I just finished Shadow of Night, the second book, which means I can now watch the second season, and hopefully they have a third one, but I really want to finish the third book before that happens, so I need to get to The Book of Life. And this one follows our main characters Diana and Matthew jumping back to the future, basically. They were in the past. They time traveled to Victorian London, and now they're coming back to the future. But their old and new enemies await them, of course, as they continue the quest for Ashmole 782, and we get their sort of sprawling cast of supporting characters again as well, and that's pretty exciting. I think I'm going to love this one, honestly. I really liked Shadow of Night, but it wasn't quite as, like, Discovery of Witches it was like an earworm. It just got in my head, and I really love that one. And Shadow of Night, while I really enjoyed it and it was great, it kind of felt like its own thing within the greater scope. Almost like it's a whole standalone story mashed between a duology, if that makes sense. I liked it. I didn't love it. I gave it 5 stars because it was still a really good story and I like the characters a lot, but I think I'm going to enjoy The Book of Life a lot more because they're back in modern day and something about that just worked for me. Next, I want to get to The Starlight C by Erin Morgenstern, and I don't really know how to describe this one other than it kind of sounds like a trippy, magical realism kind of book. It follows our main character Zachary, who feels called to discover another place, and it just so happens that this secret sort of library underground exists and the doors are there for those who go looking for them. And he finds a door and he finds 2 people, Mirabelle and Dorian, who kind of lead him through this secret society, dark parties kind of existence. I have really no idea what it's about other than that, and it sounds kind of intoxicating and like you're going to get lost within the story in a really weird, trippy way, but I think that sounds perfect for November. The next book I need to get to is A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. This follows our two characters, Felicity and Ellis, who Felicity is a previous student of Dalloway Academy, I think, or the Dalloway School. And it is an exclusive boarding school, and she has just recently come back after a personal tragedy in which she lost her girlfriend, and there's this spooky history with the school house that she's in, Goodwin House, that basically is attached to witchcraft and dark deeds. And Ellis is a new student who sort of draws Felicity in. And I am describing this poorly, but it is a dark academia novel that has a little bit of a witchy twinge to it. And it just, I pitched it so badly, but it sounds so good. And I can't wait to get to it, because basically Felicity kind of wants to put her past behind her, but Ellis wants her to sort of dredge up this past of Goodwin House and the Dalloway Five and this witchy dark history that is connected to Felicity's passed on girlfriend. And even though she doesn't want to, Felicity is just drawn in by Ellis's personality and is kind of compelled to relive history, and then things start to go crazy from there. And I just need like to get one other good dark academia thing in. And while the Starlight C I would also qualify as a dark academia book, this one is hardcore dark academia. I think it's like dark academia in the stereotypical sense, and I'm into it. Next, we have Lost in the Neverwoods by Aidan Thomas, and this follows, it's a Peter Pan retelling, I should start with that, and it follows a girl named Wendy after, a couple years after she has escaped this forest in which she and her brothers went missing, and other kids in town start to go missing, and she almost runs over this boy named Peter, who she thought was something she imagined from her time in the woods, and he asks her to help him save these missing children, so she has to sort of confront her past, and that's all I really know about it, other than it's a really dark Peter Pan retelling, and it sounds like it's kind of nefarious and dark and creepy and probably more akin to the true Peter Pan than the Disney version will allow you to believe, because Peter, if I remember correctly, is a little bit darker than people expect him to be. So this one possibly gonna be very dark and spooky and kind of awesome to go into the dark and spooky months with. So this is one I also feel I need to get to. Next, we have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This follows a character from the Caraval series, Jax the Prince of Hearts, and he makes a deal with this girl named Evangeline who wants to put a stop to her ex-love's potential impending wedding, and she makes a deal with Jax to stop the wedding. And I believe she pledges a kiss, and of course once the deal is done he wants more from her than just a kiss. It says he has plans for Evangeline, plans that will either end in the greatest happily ever after or the most exquisite tragedy. And Jax is a really fun character. I enjoyed him in the Caraval series, and I was really excited when I heard he was getting a spin-off kind of series, because he is kind of integral to Caraval in the sense that he kind of helps move some things along at times you don't expect him to. He shows up, and I think he's going to cause a lot of mischief in his own novel, which I think will be great fun. And I think I've talked about it already, but just this Waterstones edition is so beautiful and so fun and just makes me, I gotta pick it up. But I believe I read the Caraval series originally around the sort of late fall winter season, so it kind of seems fitting that I pick it back up with its spin-off. And last but not least, we have The Excalibur Curse by Kirsten White. This is the third book in her Arthurian trilogy. It follows the Camelot Betrayal. Yeah, the Camelot Betrayal. And it follows that story right where it leaves off, with Guinevere sort of going off in opposite directions to the other sort of characters that she's previously aligned herself with. Not necessarily of her own free will, but kind of. And from what I understand, it's going to be a kind of dark and epic conclusion because Guinevere is going to learn some things about herself that she didn't quite expect, and there are things alluded to in the previous books that really seem like they've planted the seeds for a kind of epic reveal, and I'm hoping that that is the case. Either way, I've been really enjoying this series, so I'm a little bit sad to see it end, but I'm also really excited for this novel. I love this story. It's one of my favorite Arthurian retellings so far. I kind of hold it up there in the sense that it has the light, sort of easy to read, fast writing tone and pace that I enjoy in Avalon High, but it also offers some of the more classic Arthurian style elements like magic and swords and sort of medieval things, if you will. So it's kind of a blend of the right tone with all that great fun medieval just mashed together, and I'm ready and not ready for this ending all at the same time because I know it's going to be good. But that is it for the 7 books I feel like I need to get to before the end of this year, and I'm hoping to get to a lot of these books this month. If you've read any of them yet and you enjoyed them, let me know down in the comments, or if you didn't enjoy them, let me know why down in the comments. I'd be interested to know if I might be wasting my time on any of these. But for now, I'm going to get going. If you want to keep up with me and all of my bookish adventures, you can go ahead and click the subscribe button. And of course, I highly recommend that you ring the little bell so that you don't miss a beat, because it will notify you every time I post a new video, which is going to be next Friday. So I will see you guys then. Bye!